I was there in 4 or 5 days, so all I did was writing.
With your phone? Thank you, Yvonne, for sharing about this work. I was looking into the research plan before we started this call, and I know we had a short conversation about it, and I'm so intrigued. What are you going to research, or what are you are already researching? It's not just a plan, but you are actively doing the research. What
Yes,
is your research topic?
I've been researching for 1 year now. My research is about how is Pompeii portrayed? How is it seen? How is it felt? Not only today, when we see documentaries, which are also not the truth. It's a 45-minute or 30-minute story about a city. Even if it's documentary, it's not the truth. It's one angle of the truth, maybe. Because even in science, there have been corrections over corrections, not only today, but in the course over centuries. First of all, it's about reality and illusion and consciousness and awareness. With the example of Pompeii, we think we have an idea about what the Roman Empire was. So I'm looking at Pompeii, how it was told. They found so many phallic symbols across the city. What we think is sexual, but that's the first assumption. Is that true? Because the phallic symbol is now charged with sexual meaning. You know, there are so many myths also in science. Also, they thought they find the skeleton of a family, the mother holding her child, the father holding the other child, the perfect family. Found now with technological, improvement with the DNA, they found out that they were not related among each other at all. The one person that they found in Pompeii that died, that had the most money with them, and that was like 10 years of salary of a soldier in gold, was and jewelry, was a girl with 20 years old or so. And I think she was 20 years old. So when I tell you this and I make a mistake, I form something. That's the other thing. I form a mistake. I may form a mistake in everybody, you and everybody who hears that, because we form that from what we hear and what we see, and there's a collective narrative across everything. One of the archaeologists was gay. In the time when he was living, Winkelmann, in the time that he was alive, he was actually, if it came out that he was homosexual, he would have died. The death penalty. So that might have been for him, for him be a portrait of Pompeii, of a more free world. Of things.
So his perception already changed the narrative.
And the church framed Pompeii as the example for the sinful city, an example for this is what happens. The world ends for those who sin, the sinner's city.
Of course.
Yeah. And also in our imaginations, all the temples, all the buildings, the white statues, these white temples, the purity. This was also a picture of, the purity of this age where everything was so natural, not knowing that, and going to it's all white statue, but not knowing that that's not true. It was all polychrome. It was all very colorful. All the buildings were very colorful. All the columns, everything was colorful. And now we are in the narrative of there's this volcanic eruption and a lot of people die and a lot of drama. And that was the past decades. And now we are already changing into people consciously making films and saying on film, we want to leave the narrative of this dramatic narrative about Pompeii because we want to tell how life was and not how this one day was when the volcano erupted. So this is my research topic. How is Pompeii portrayed over centuries, and what is the truth, and what different kind of angles are there, and what is how is it portrayed? How is it among the scholarly research? And what kind of, where is the level of consciousness, and what is truth, and what is portrayed? What is the projection? Where is Pompeii just not seen? But is used for a lot of projection. So this is my research topic.
So interesting. We talked briefly about your own, that you have some, in your own story, some maybe related thing has happened in your life. And could you share something about that, and if that has connection to this topic and to your research?
Yeah, I'm a filmmaker, and I know how films are being produced because I know all the. I've done concepts for films, documentary, and I've only done documentary films and documentary shows and all kind of, but always documentary. So portraying the truth, but it's always so subjective. In the hundreds of productions I did for TV or as a commercial, it's always the few. It's not light or so, but the way you feel it, the way you use the music, the way you select what's, because you can't portray the whole reality. You select. And we, as a human being, we select already because we can't see the full range of light. We can't see the full range of. So we are constructing a reality, although we are truth lovers. And I know it from being the director, from editing, from doing films for 25 years in all sorts of things for TV and private and for economy and everything. It's always a choice of what you put in and not, and how the people feel. So this is connected to my own story, how reality is constructed, but also on a very personal level, how reality in full can be perceived on a personal level. Because I survived a terror attack, 9/11, and at the World Trade Center on that day. And I have insight on moments where the unexplainable happened in my surrounding, and what happens to thoughts and the brain and the experience and how it feels. And in the biggest moment in that moment where my life was in danger, there was no fear. And in that moment when I couldn't digest what I was seeing. It was just, I didn't understand what I saw. I didn't understand, but I couldn't And I didn't know, of course, oh, now I'm in a historical moment. I thought,
oh, let me take some notes here.
should I go back into the tower because it's my first workday? You can't categorize. So, and also when you're in that moment, and what made me run and not follow my thoughts was that in that moment, some kind of switch in my body switched into animal being.
And animal
now
came.
my cat comes along. I didn't even know she's in here.
Perfect
I
timing.
thought she's outside. So I switched to it's so hard to explain because it's like your body takes control. It's not your thoughts. It's like really pure instincts. As far as I'm aware at this moment in research. There's only one clear time witness report from back then. And that's from Pliny the Younger. There's so many parallels, even thoughts and feelings, and also just one little decision away from death. And because his uncle who died there, who went there, his uncle asked, do you want to come with me on a boat to get closer to the volcano? And he died there. And so it was one decision away from death. I thought, I was my first work day, so I was super, super, super early to be really on time, to have all the backups of time. And I have so much time. Should I go up on the Windows of the World, which was a cafe up on the 110th floor of the World Trade Center? And that was just one decision away. There are many similarities where I feel I have a different kind of approach to how history, because now what's the science of history or archaeology? Like it also wants to be felt, maybe, but that's not the scientific regular approach. Now, how to approach that, it has nothing to do what I experienced or what Pliny experienced 2,000 years ago. And I can't assume that the way he describes it was the same kind of experience with what I know now and what he knew then. But somehow I feel connected to him because he's explaining so many things. And I'm like, I know. And the night afterwards, same. And where this kind of approach, you can't approach it with that scientific eye. You need to have felt that something unknown is coming into your life, and you don't know what to do with it, and you're in life danger, and your decision counts. And in being in that animal, it's such a different kind of being that it's hard even to explain. So I will take that into my research and see what my supervisor and the committee says, because this is I have one section in my doctorate's theory that is that pronounced, that trailered a scientific, artistic approach. And that's the frame where I put that in.
But even as you are sharing this and explaining your how you could integrate this into the research. But when you were kind of telling his story and telling your story, my body responds. And it's like when you are talking about this illusion and reality and conscious, I mean, it feels like this storytelling level is where, how do I put it? We get new information, which is not about do I believe this or not, because it's not my head that is kind of taking the information in. And of course, I'm biased, but I feel that the research could really benefit from this kind of an angle. And it's not just like only only kind of trying to be neutral, because it never is anyway. The research or documentary, it never is neutral anyway. So why not like remove that requirement, at least for a moment, and see if that could bring up more information?
Exactly. I think I almost put it exactly that way. This exactly. Why not remove that? Yeah, if it's not neutral anyway.
Why did this topic come to you? Or why did you choose Pompeii?
I cannot answer this question, not because I don't want to, but because I don't know. I've been waiting or looking for a doctorate research topic, and I had already given up to write one because I knew I just want to do a research where I'm burning for it, where I'm excited, where I'm crazy about it, that I fall in love with. Not because my master's thesis was, I didn't like the topic. It was such a drag. and so not one topic came across that I was excited and possible supervisors would say yes to. And sometimes just because they didn't work in that field but it was always around that. And then I woke up in a surgery, after surgery, a hip surgery, hip replacement. And they replaced my bone with some titanic hip. And when I woke up, the topic was there. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it dawned on me. So for the next, I was there in 4 or 5 days. So all I did was writing.
With your phone?
It was like a retreat, It's like, and then sometimes, oh, now it's your time to move. Okay, some break, but in between, and I contacted my today's supervising professor, and I wrote that to him, and he said, I think on the day that I came out of the hospital or one day earlier, yep, that sounds great. So I came out of the hospital and was super happy. And yeah, that's how the topic, I don't know. It all came, probably it was the time was right, or the topic came together, or I don't know.
But have you been into Pompeii before?
No, I mean, yes, when I was 10 years old or so, it was really fascinating. And I don't know what you know, but it was no question at all. My parents wanted to talk me out of it. My even teachers wanted to talk me out of it. But it was so clear for me that I study Latin at school and Old Greek. That was so clear. And I finished also Abitur, the end of this school, with you can choose 2 topics. I chose Latin and English. And it was so clear that, and Seneca and all the philosophers really did something to me. And I was always really, and then I studied history and I chose also topics around the Roman Empire and old myths, Roman myths and Greek myths, mythology. And that even made me be more interested, So it was always with me. It was always with me. Yeah, and then also, I have a lot to do with art. So I was on the Biennale in Venice, and last time at Venice, or no, it was maybe 3 biennales ago, they built up human bodies that really looked like human bodies sleeping, but with the horse, the
Yeah.
centaur. And like a real horse. And it really, like, to see the manifestation of all these centaurs sleeping in real size, that was just wow. So it's always been fascinating me a lot. And now I feel so honored that I'm allowed to write about Pompeii, and yeah, and this Pompeii is the Vatican of archaeology, basically. It's the holy. Yeah, everything that came from that time was just so speaking to me a lot. So this is somehow connected to my whole life in a way. And so in so many ways. So I'm obsessed with it. And I knew that I don't need any discipline. Like a few days ago, I woke up at 5 o'clock and somehow I'm like, okay, was that in Pompeii? How was that in Pompeii? And then I started to work on my research. And then it was 10 o'clock. And then, but if you told that someone that, oh, I got up at 5 o'clock and I work, I worked 5 hours on the
Winner hour, and I'm so effective. And
now I
look at
have to work
me.
for another.
I want to keep this intentionally short so that there is the curiosity has been like raised now, but I want to ask about your wish or intention for this research. Of course,
Ooh.
it's out of your hands, but what would be your intention or wish about the impact that it would have in the
Oh.
world? Small question.
I would love it to be helpful for archaeologists and their I have the feeling that there's still so much. I'm not sure, but I have the feeling that there's still so much fight and so much war in getting research money for digging and for doing archaeology and so and archaeology is so much more important than just the historical knowledge or so. And it's handed over time, over generations, so that they don't have to prove, oh, what did you find? What did you find? What is because the reality changes and unfolds itself. So what is more important? So when we look back, it's become more and more careful. So going back, how can we even be more careful than we think we should be? Like how?
What do you mean by being careful? Like more nuanced
Well,
or?
well, there were times in the 18th century they found skeleton and they were like,
oh, right.
now, and then they realized, oh, that's, they poured in some liquid that, the cement, and
the
then they
preserve
had the
everything.
form. And it's been more and more detailed. Now it's important where they exactly lay, how they exactly die, to reconstruct their story. And as technology goes along, they will find out more. But if it's destroyed, then you can't. To be aware of the unknown that will come, and to work forward and not for proof, for funding. So what did you find for one write on a paper in one reason, but to open it up towards future centuries, that we are always a part of the puzzle, and it will always be looked at differently and with different ways of technologies, a different way of angle of the zeitgeist of the how careful people are. It's like and what's behind all that, and not to judge too early, because, for example, when we see a black room, like our brain is going in fireworks in all directions. Dark room, maybe like depressed people, maybe the black, they like black, maybe it's the culture, maybe it's whatever. But when you see a black room in Pompeii, it's because the oil lamps made stains. So they decided to have winter rooms where they can light the room without having stains and still light beautiful pictures up. When we don't know that oil lamps, that because we don't use oil lamps but LEDs, we can't. And with that emotional side of it, into the unknown and working on yourself, you can become a better archaeologist also. It's like both ways. And that would be my big wish, that it's really helpful to expand or build on what's already so beautifully there, and to end some fights that don't have to be. It's clear that it needs to be funded. Clear it needs to be actually funded forward hundreds of years, where they say, okay, we have the funding for all kind of technologies are to come for the next 150 years. That's okay. And then we don't have to worry about that anymore, because that takes so much energy. That would be fantastic. And maybe it's just an idea, but I hear in the documentaries that I look at, and you have to go, right? That in the documentaries, I hear so much. Yeah, we need to fill out the form, or we couldn't do it because of the funding, and because of the money, because of. I hear that in interviews. I keep on hearing that, and that would be my intention.
What a beautiful intention. So that the history can actually be alive for hundreds of years to come, for the next generations as well. It's not a small thing.
It's projections also that reflects back. Pompeii does something to many people. Touches on something in many people. What touches in you? Does it touch something in you?
Yes, and I don't know what it is, but I think that's the best part. That it's not like in my analytical mind, but I feel, and the way you're talking about the collective memory, and so I think that there is something in the collective field, some pieces of this information and wisdom that you are able to bring up in your work. So thank you so much for doing this research, and thank you so much for the privilege of being here to ask these questions when you share about your work for the first time. Thank you.